These two, what a combination they have.
Embiid throwing it down. Compliments of Simmons. And Embiid off the Simmons feed.
Up top, Embiid from Simmons.
Simmons in transition. What a pass to Embiid! My goodness!
Not too long ago, it was Blake Griffin and Chris Paul in L.A. with the must-see TV thing. Now it's Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. Look at these huge numbers put up last year. 23, 11, and 2 with the blocks for Embiid. 16, 8, and 8 for Ben Simmons. And by the way, he almost had 2 steals per game last year, bringing that D with all the slick passing as we bring you back to Game Time. Rick Kamla, Isaiah Thomas, and Kevin McHale. And you spent some time with Joel Embiid this summer. What did y'all talk about? And, a lot of guys have gone to Hakeem Olajuwon over the years to get better as a big man. Are you going to be that new guy, the big man guru?
No, we just spent some time talking actually last spring, and I just told him some things about being a little bit more aggressive on the post and he's got so much skill. He's got beautiful touch, and you'll see in this video we're about to show, he's got the ability to do a lot of stuff. See, I like this right here, Zeke. Look, he's putting pressure on the defense. Where does he end up at the rim? Starts out at 12, 14 feet. Again, he gets down in the post. And you can just see he's got the ability just to blow by people. He's just got nice footwork, nice little jab to the middle, came baseline and dunked it. And then, down here, if you can shoot the ball, you can pump fake. So he's able to make jump shots. So now he's able to pump him up, get him in the old up and under, and slide underneath the guy. But the one thing that I talked to him about a lot was getting a spot on the floor. And having a spot where the coach says, I know I can give you the ball. Remember the old Showtime Lakers? That was all up and down until they needed 2 points.
Number 33 got it.
Yeah, right here with the goggles, and he gave it to you. So I said to him, come over here on this side of the floor. Get the ball, Joel. Now, the first thing you saw him rip through, get the ball, reverse pivot, drop the ball here in front of you. And so on this move, I could get fouled anytime through this rip through. So it's a hard drop right here. I'm getting to right here. Now I'm going to set you here with a little bit of a, fake, and I'm getting into my jump hook. His ability to make shots right here is phenomenal. And here's the analytics have come into play. If you're a guard, you're saying, I only got to make 4 out of 10 shots to get 12 points.
Right.
If you're in here, you got to make 6 out of 10 to get 12. I said, here's the deal, Joel. Get so good that every time you touch the ball, you're getting 14, 15, 16 points in here on your 10 possessions. They'll go to you down here. So a jump hook. So watch for him this year to get that right-handed jump hook. Work that reverse pivot through, ball into the middle, get in here, set it up, and go up and go over the top. He's got a beautiful touch. He does that. It's amazing.
Quickly, do you want him taking less threes, same threes, more threes?
I want him taking more shots in the post.
I understand.
Yes.
Let's talk Ben Simmons. Let's get a little point guard action going here. In the offseason, great players like you guys add one thing, one layer, one nuance to your game. What's next for Ben Simmons?
When I spoke to Ben Simmons when he came here, I told him the most important thing for him I thought he had to improve at was the foul line. And the reason why he has to improve at the foul line, if you're a point guard, you close out games at the foul line. At the end of the game, they put the ball in your hand. Your responsibility as a go-to player, you got to be able to make free throws. You got to be able to get your own shot and not turn the ball over. And if Ben Simmons wants to be a go-to player at the end of the game, he's got to improve at the foul line. Now, what is he good at? What he's really good at is taking little guys into the post. I don't think he needs to get a jump shot. I think he needs to keep pounding guys in the post. We see how big he is inside. He has a size advantage, and this is where he's really smart. He draws 2 defenders on the fast break, and he knows he's got 2 lane runners running in terms of Embiid. Again, he's got a small guy into the post. Look how big he is, and he can keep scoring down in the post a la Magic Johnson. Now, what Magic Johnson became good at, Magic Johnson became a 90% foul shooter. Ben Simmons takes the ball to the basket when he's got a bigger defender on him. He gets fouled, and if Ben Simmons can become an 80% foul shooter, they will win probably 5 to 6 more games and potentially potentially can upset the Celtics and go to the finals if he becomes a better foul shooter.
Great advice. I mean, we're thinking about mid-range jumpers and the three-point shot. Zeke says, hey, just shoot free throws better. And it's time for a break here on Game Time. Coming up next, we preview LeBron James and the Lakers, who are primed to end their playoff drought. Stay right where you are.
To talk about LeBron and the move. He is on his way to the Lakers, 4 years, $154 million.
LeBron James, he's the one guy that has truly bet on himself.
The domino effect of what LeBron James does and has done is going to ripple this league for the next 4 years in ways that we probably would not have thought of.
LeBron's regular season debut with the purple and gold goes down Thursday on TNT with the Blazers hosting them at 10:30 Eastern. The Bulls and Sixers from Philadelphia. Thursday, doubleheader on TNT featuring the King and Rick Kamla, Isaiah Thomas, and Kevin McHale. Very simply, are the Lakers a top 4 team in the West, or are they in the race for 8?
I wouldn't say they're top 4. I'm going to go top 6.
Okay.
I think LeBron James somehow figures out a way to win 50 games every year, and I think he'll figure out a way to win 50 again this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be a playoff team, and I think that you don't want to play LeBron James in a playoff series. I don't care what. I don't care if you're the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed or 3. What he brings a whole different dimension to the game, and he's found a way to take a lot of different players and bring them to the finals and bring them a lot of success. He'll do the same thing with the Lakers, and they'll win. I agree, 50 plus games.
I thought for sure you were going to say he took Boobie Gibson to the.
I didn't say Boobie Gibson, only because I always say Boobie Gibson, and you always look at me. So I said I'm not saying Boobie Gibson. So Zeke always gives me the Boobie Gibson. Yeah, I didn't use it though.
Who's the most important Laker not named LeBron?
I am going to say Ingram. I think if he has a breakout season scoring-wise, I think he can be that guy for them.
I think Ball's got to be able to run the court, just do a lot of stuff, move the ball, and his jump shot's got to improve some. But I think Ball's just a very dynamic player, can take a lot of pressure off of LeBron having to handle all the time. If they get up and down and run the way they were in exhibition season, it's going to be fun to watch.
Quickly, does LeBron play center this year for the Lakers?
I think he likes to talk about playing center. He could have played center in the East.
Yeah.
But in the West, he can't mess with the Joker, okay? He can't mess with, the big boys they got. The West got some big boys, Cousins is over there now. I mean, he don't want to mess with that 5 spot in the West.
All right, coming up next on Game Time, we have officiating VP Monty McCutchen. He joins us to talk about points of emphasis for the upcoming season. You don't want to miss this.
Our fouls this year, end of story. Put air in the whistle, blow it. First one, let's go obvious. Corey Joseph understands that he's beat on the switch. Rodney's going to slip, and we get the tug. Pretty easy, right? Well, we would all call that. It's a wrap. It's a hold, really. But do you see the wrap there on the hip? That's what we're looking for this year.
That is Vice President of Referee Development and Training and a longtime NBA referee, Monty McCutchen, who joins us now to talk about points of emphasis for the upcoming season. So, Monty, let's start with freedom of movement. What is going on there?
Well, we met throughout the year with our competition committee, which is made up of owners, general managers, coaches, and players. There's referees on it, Mark Davis and Jason Phillips as non-voting members to give a refereeing perspective. But the real basketball people of our league realize that some of the rules that we have on the books and have been on the books for many years were not being stringently enough enforced. And our role then, when we come out of those competition committees, is to be the adjudicators, to be the enforcers of the things that our game has slipped in. And in this case, freedom of movement, we realize that through some of the coaching perspective that our league is changing. In particular, our defensive schemes are changing to where there's more switching, and as such, there are certain ways that we were informed that coaches like to attack those switches, slips, dumping it down into the post, but some of those schemes were not being allowed to being used because the enforcement of our rules was not up to par with their desire. So that if one person in defending pick and roll could both show and wrap and hold someone back from slipping, that forced more isolation basketball. And so through these mini meetings, and they occur throughout the year, we came to the understanding that our freedom of movement guidelines that have been on the books for many years needed to be more stringently enforced, and that's what we're going to do this year. In particular, we're going to make sure we focus on wraps on the perimeter, holds, two-handed pushes that steer screeners or steer defenders in a certain way. And in the post, we wanted to make sure that the reroutes and the impedes were being enforced properly so that we had a more beautiful, free-flowing game in which the best athletes in the world, which is what we have, are allowed to show their talents.
Fascinating. Now, another point of emphasis for the upcoming 2018-19 season is respect for the game. What is the intention here, and how is this going to look different for NBA fans this upcoming season?
I don't think it's going to look any different. The respect for the game guidelines we've had for almost a decade now. And so I don't believe that there's any desire on our part to have more technical fouls or to adjudicate the standards that we've had for many years any differently. What we do want to do is be consistent in enforcing our guidelines so that coaches and players have the proper tools to be successful every night. So that if something occurs on Tuesday night, they can fully expect it when their opponent does it on Thursday night for it to be adjudicated fairly and properly and consistently from a night-to-night basis. And that's our goal there. Remember, the points of education tape that we send out is in large part not because necessarily one thing is wrong, but that it emphasizes the things that the values of our league hold true. And we value the fact that the game and the players is where the focus should be, not on the relationship with referees.
Monty, how many times throughout the year do you hear the comment, I don't even know what a travel is anymore? So talk to us about that point of emphasis for this upcoming season.
Well, I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard that to answer your first question. I think traveling obviously is something that we always want to be emphasizing and being aware of. We've changed our mechanics with our referees so that we now have a system of sequencing where we look that includes feet first, the release of a proper dribble, and then get to the defensive player where we have traditionally focused our energy on. And by changing our mechanics, we have seen over the last several years an increase in our accuracy there. We want to continue to be accurate in adjudicating and enforcing traveling for the following reason. When we allow travels to occur through not doing good work and not sequencing our eyes to the proper places, those missed travels, those incorrect no calls, lead to fouls on the defensive team or open layups or open three-pointers. And that statistically is true, and so we have to do a better job so that defensive teams are not being placed at a disadvantage on a nightly basis.
Monty, it's going to be tough for you to top that suit in our next visit. You are really doing it with that. But we really appreciate your time, all the efforts to make the game an even better game of NBA basketball. Have a great season. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Rick. It was a pleasure to be here. You have a great season as well.
Still to come on Game Time, we have reaction from around the basketball world about the passing of Paul Allen.